the war criminals!
US, UK!
Hands off Assange!
And there's only one decision!
No extradition!
We have come here today outside HMP Belmarsh, the Guantanamo Bay of Greenwich, because Julian Assange, a publisher and journalist, over 10 years ago published the truth about war. This government, the UK, is a leading member of NATO. And NATO has been waging war for the past 30 years, not only against states in Europe, Africa, the Ukraine, Palestine and the Middle East, but they are responsible and directly responsible now for committing genocide. What once we had the Nuremberg trials against those who committed genocide in the 20th century, now we demand an account for those committing genocide in the 21st century. UK taxpayer money, our name, our military intelligence, our government, our bureaucracy, our generals, our media propagandists and the deep state spooks who inhabit the corridors of power of Whitehall are all complicit in this murder. And Julian Assange, a great journalist, globally recognised, award-winning and nominated many times for the Nobel Peace Prize, was one of the great men who revealed these truths. And we're here today in support of Julian Assange and against the wars, against the war in Ukraine, sponsored by NATO for the past 15 years, against the war in Palestine, sponsored by the Western powers and NATO for the past 75 years. We're against the war in Yemen. We're against the war in Africa. We're against the occupation of a third to a half of Syria, not only by NATO, the US, the UK and their allies, but against the destruction of civilian infrastructure, civilian lives, and those men, women and children who are always the first to suffer. And today in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip, they are starving to death, over 2 million people. These are our leaders, these are those in political power. And the policies of Rishi Sunak and Joe Biden are no different from what the policies will be under an administration here of Sir Keir Heil Hitler Starmer, the most dangerous of politicians, an ex-lawyer. And we demand once again today to free Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange!
Jail the war criminals!
And jail the war criminals!
On April the 11th, it will mark 5 years of his kidnap from the Ecuadorian embassy in Kensington and his incarceration here at HMP Belmarsh, once designed for the most dangerous of criminals, now reassigned to those truth-tellers and speakers, free speakers against war. Free Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange!
And jail the war criminals!
And jail the war criminals!
Good afternoon!
Assange's legal situation with the legal situation of Navalny in Russia. And I said that there wasn't much difference between the two. The Russian government didn't really bother to disguise how they actually killed Navalny. Here, Assange is being slowly ground down by neglect of his physical and mental health. But there's not much difference between the two. Today, I'm going to compare Assange's legal situation with the post office scandal. Yup, the dear old post office and the sub-postmasters who are accused of fiddling the books. In fact, it was the fraud team investigating the sub-postmasters who created the false entries in the computer system and pocketed the proceeds themselves. What a surprise! I better be careful here and say that it's not proven yet, but it will be in the future.
Yeah, well, don't give me that Navalny bullshit, please.
So now, compare all that with the US war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan, which the whole world knows about, but somehow the US government pretends that nothing ever happened. They do everything to avoid having to face the facts. It was Assange who revealed the video of civilians in Baghdad being casually murdered for fun. That's all the Americans were doing it for fun. The US government is like an ostrich, keeping its head in the sand, while the whole world knows what actually happened. The mainstream media, look at the publicity, saying that Assange stole the information and therefore should be prosecuted, while the actual facts stay hidden. So now let's compare that with the post office scandal, where you have a multi-pronged situation of the post office management, their lawyers, the auditors who pointed out the computer problems in 2017, and the fraud team investigating the sub-postmasters. Now they're all fighting each other like rats in a sack, trying to avoid responsibility for the hypocrisy and dishonesty of their actions. Now compare that to Assange's legal situation. You've got the Home Office, the government, at his appeal in February. The prison, you people here, said that he was too ill to attend, even by video link. I'm guessing it was the Home Office that told you to come up with some bloody excuse, blah, blah, blah. So now you are all going to be fighting like rats in the sack to avoid responsibility. Have you not noticed how the truth almost always comes out eventually? It might take a few years, but the truth will come out. I suggest you decide which side you want to be on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello. I won't speak for very long. Don't worry. My name is Nigel, and with my fellow protesters here, we are here to campaign for the release of Julian Assange. And like my colleagues have said previously, he is falsely in prison, in our view, for exposing US and UK war crimes on a massive scale, and that is why he is here, because he is being punished for telling the truth and exposing the deaths caused by NATO forces on a huge scale of hundreds and thousands of civilians, of women and children. And make no mistake, that is the reason why he's here. But we are protesting because we believe he is not only an innocent man, but he's absolutely heroic. We need more Julian Assanges, not less. So Julian, if you're listening, well done, keep it up. You've done a marvellous job, and we want you out of here, and we want you to spend the years ahead a bit more restfully than you had to endure recently with your family, preferably hopefully back in Australia or wherever, but somewhere a long way from here. And we will be coming each week, and we will continue coming until you're out. Okay, Julian, keep your spirits up, have a good weekend, and we're here for you all the time. Thank you.
Free Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! There's only one decision.
No extradition!
There's only one decision.
No extradition!
Well done.
Very good.
Thank you, Nigel.
Excellent.
I think we should have a Zoom meeting about the bounty.
Oh, I don't want to think about him. He's dead now, isn't he?
About this.
Oh, he's dead. Let him rest in peace. He wasn't much of a person.